Hello, happy Monday, a push people. So, this week is gonna be honestly an interesting week because we really do get into the modern presidency. We start talking about Eisenhower, and he was just a unique president because his presidency was the first presidency televised, so that's an interesting aspect of his presidency. But today we are going to put an end, wrap up the second Red Scare once and for all. This is kind of a required reading for us. I have to give it to you. So I'm gonna break this reading down. You guys have questions at the end. Go log into Google Classroom, complete those questions, send them to me. You do have a wrap up today, send that to me. If you need a deadline and extension, please email me. So, I have three main points of this reading. First one, revelation that spies in the U.S. atomic program had passed secrets to the Soviet Union set off a nationwide panic that communist spies might be infiltrating many American institutions. Number two, allegations that Hollywood was rife with communists led to the House Committee of Un-American Activities, HUAC, to investigate many actors, writers, and directors during the 1950s. Alleged communist was placed on a blacklist and barred from working in Hollywood. Know all of this already. Number three, Republican Senator Joseph McCarthy took advantage of this widespread paranoia to advance himself politically by accusing State Department employees of communist leanings. McCarthy's accusations was unsubstantiated and Senate eventually censured him. So you know all of this already. I just have to repeat it once and for all. Think of this like a wrap up of this major event in history. And if you hear the chewing noises, I just got a puppy, so I think she's chewing on something behind my desk. So. Alright, Red Fears. In 1949, the Soviet Union detonated its first atomic device, ending the United States' short reign as the sole atomic power on Earth. The entry of the Soviets into the atomic club made Americans nervous, not to mention a little suspicious. How did the USSR get the bomb so fast? That is something we didn't talk about this past week. So, how did they get the bomb so fast? This was the root cause behind the Red Fear. So I'm going to write that on the board. This is the root cause. How did the USSR get the bomb so fast? did the USSR get the bomb so fast? This is where suspicions behind communist behavior start to root up. When it came to light that Soviet spies in the U.S. atomic program had passed secrets to Russia, Americans began to worry that spies might be lurking in every corner of society. In the late 1940s and early 1950s, there were several highly publicized espionage trials that convicted leading scientists and government figures of espionage, so terrorism, culminating in the 1953 execution of scientist Julius Rosenberg and his wife Ethel for passing information about the atomic bomb to Russia. These convictions served to justify fears that spies could be active throughout the country. So these cases and that question gave the United States leverage to go after these spies for treasonous offenses. In this atmosphere of mistrust, a broad range of institutions rushed to root out suspected communists from their ranks. The U.S. government stepped up loyalty programs and purged itself of anyone deemed a security threat. Individuals believed to be particularly susceptible to bribery or blackmail, such as debtors or homosexuals, were summarily dismissed. Schools and universities fired teachers who refused to swear an oath that they were not communist. Even civil rights organizations like the NAACP and the Urban League moved quickly to rid themselves of communists, lest they be accused of subversion. Although it is true that Soviet spies were at work in the United States, recently declassified documents reveal that Julius Rosenberg was indeed sending atomic secrets to Russians, though Ethel was innocent. Only a teeny fraction of them who lost their positions were actually connected with USSR in the first place. So the answer to that question is Mr. Rosenberg. Mr. was accused of sending these confidential memos to the Soviet Union. But I do want you to grasp this. Only a teeny fraction of those who lost their positions were actually connected with the USSR in any way. So most of them were innocent. So HUAC first formed in 1938, the House Committee on Un-American Activities, or HUAC, was a special committee in the U.S. House of Representatives tasked with investigating subversions of individuals and organizations. In the 1950s, HUAC turned its attention to hunting Reds, communists, hunting communists with ties to the Soviet Union. Influenced by a pamphlet called Red Channels, which alleged that communists had infiltrated the entertainment industry and intended to use the suggestive power of media to spread propaganda to American audiences. In 1950, HUAC began investigating Hollywood figures. So they would investigate these figures, and most of them were blacklisted from the Hollywood industry. Let's talk about Joseph McCarthy. We already talked about him in great detail, so I'm going to quickly go through this. So Joseph McCarthy did this in reality to get quote unquote famous in the United States Senate. McCarthy's allegations shocked the nation. So, finding himself in the spotlight, he began these public hearings to get public's attention to fearmonger. There was actual fear in America. This is why, in my opinion, that the second Red Scare is so important in modern U.S. history, because it was fearful. Americans were afraid of politics, of anybody in politics that say the wrong thing or act a certain way. So, McCarthy finally went too far in 1954 when he initiated hearings against the U.S. Army. The televised Army McCarthy hearings showcased McCarthy's increasingly erratic behavior and reliance on guilt by association rather than evidence. In December 1954, the U.S. Senate voted to censure McCarthy. So he went too far when it came to these public hearings against the Army. So that's it for today's online lecture. Please complete the reading assignment, the questions attached, and the wrap-up. See you tomorrow.